Andy, just overall, what did you see out of your pitching staff tonight?
Yeah, it was a tough day for us. There's no other way around it. Perez got us off to a good start. Minter had a really good inning in there. Brazo came in and did some decent stuff, and everything else just was a tough day. Austin Warren's been somebody we've relied on all year long. He's been very, very good for us. Wasn't his day today, and obviously the tough first inning for Seelinger. Big of him to go back out there and give us another inning after going over 40 pitches in one inning. You never really want to ask that of a guy. You care about those guys on the mound. You want to put them in positions to succeed. And it was a tough ask. We were obviously very thin at that point in time.
Speaking of tough asks and understanding how thin you were, just how tough of a decision was that to have to throw him in there in his big league debut in that situation rather than a situation where it's one way or another more runs to work with?
Yeah, you certainly want to put guys in an easy, soft landing. Sometimes Major League Baseball doesn't allow that. Just the way the game goes, who's available on given days, who's not. We obviously had 2 long games in Atlanta where we used a ton of pitching and came into this one on the thinner side, and not going to advertise that up front before the game. That wouldn't be very smart, and we were forced to make some of those kind of triage decisions along the way in the game.
The fact that you did have Minter come in at the end, did you consider using him in the 7th there, or were you always going to have to find a way through?
We would have basically been leaving Seelinger with no safety net at that point in time in his Major League debut, so he's throwing the 7th or he's throwing the 8th and the 9th. There's not a clean answer there. Obviously, like any way you come out of that game, you'll look back and maybe wish you had put different guys in at different times. In the moment, given the fact we basically had 2 guys left we were willing to pitch today, that was the right order, and I think anybody would stand by that.
Anthony.
What did you make of Polanco's at-bats?
Good. I thought he really lengthened our lineup. I really felt it. There's like 2 things are true when you have that type of performance on the mound. It's a really frustrating day, and on the flip side, like you could feel the length of the lineup with his bat in there, and thought we had really good at-bats all day long. Great to see guys grind all the way to the end. Ewing, like, big day for a young guy, and I thought Polo was great too.
Tim.
What did you think of Senga's 3 innings?
First time he's pitched on 3 days rest, so that was an adjustment for him. Thought he gave us what he had today, and ended up being 4 runs in 3 innings. But he's got good stuff and just needs to be on the attack and filling up the strike zone. Felt he got scattered in that last inning with the walks. We were able to throw a runner out that got him an out, but. I think that was the driver for going ahead and moving forward, understanding he hasn't pitched on that short term of rest before, and got a little bit scattered in the last inning.
Dan.
Understanding you've only been in the dugout for less than 2 weeks, but you know what's going on up here. The pitching staff, the way it's constructed, and the injuries that you guys have dealt with, is this kind of what happens at times when you're just kind of searching for arms? That you have nights like tonight?
I think you always want to avoid nights like tonight. Nobody wants to go through that. Next time around we get to this spot, I think it's highly likely we have a starter that we feel good about in this spot. The way this is gone with the length of the 2 games in Atlanta coming into today, every team faces it at some point in time. It turned into kind of the perfect storm tonight.
Dave.
Did you kind of have that feeling the way the night could go that way just because the runs, there were so many runs getting scored so early that you had to be a little nervous about how the pitching staff might shake out after that?
Yeah, I think we, as a group, have a ton of confidence in Austin Warren. He had a night that was really tough. I think we're looking at it pretty confidently that he could give us a couple innings tonight, and it didn't turn into that. I think it was at that point that we knew we were going to have to put Seelinger into kind of a tough debut spot that you'd prefer not to. We believe in Austin. We'll continue to believe in him. He's a guy who's been great for us all year, and I think that was kind of where we tripped up a little bit, and that happens.
Danigan.
Have you ever seen a play like the one in the first inning, that 3-run?
Not with kind of the ping pong throws back and forth. I thought we did some really good things, putting some pressure on him, but that was unique.
Austin, you've obviously been so good for the majority of this year. Over the last 2 outings, what in particular has been different in your mind?
terrible. Not throwing the ball great, missing spots, and yeah, bad things happen.
When you start to miss spots the way that you have, is there any reason why you think that that is happening, that's creeping in right now?
Nothing in particular. Haven't felt my best past few, but that's not an excuse. Still need to go out there and find a way, and I'm not doing it.
And you mentioned you guys, obviously a little short in the bullpen tonight. How aware are you going in, and just how difficult is it when it does start to spiral a little bit?
Yeah, we were light today. I know I needed to cover some innings. Doesn't change the way I go about my business or anything. Just didn't work out. Bad outing.
AJ, for you personally, 4 for 4, what did you feel best about with your at-bats tonight?
I feel comfortable in the box right now, and that's pretty much it.
We're starting to see the power come a little bit more, 4 home runs now, I think, in the last 12 or 13 games. What is that a byproduct of?
I think it's just being comfortable in the box. That's not really something I'm pushing for. It's more just line drive stuff. But the fact that, I'm getting the ball in the air to the pull side it's cool.
I know you and Carson have a lot of fun with Soto in the outfield. What did you make of his catch tonight?
Yeah, that was Soto's the ultimate competitor. So he's putting it all out there every single time he goes out there. So that play that was awesome.
Do you think your home run was more impressive than Carson's trip around the bases?
After the travel yesterday, him getting around the bases, that was pretty impressive.
How have you felt your comfort level grow from the time you got here to where you are now?
I've definitely been more comfortable as it's gone on. I'd say that about 3 weeks ago, I started to feel like myself.
Can you describe what it was like to play in a wild game like this one?
Baseball's a crazy game, and you never know what's going to happen every single time you go out there, and it's a crazy game.
AJ, when you say about 3 weeks ago, you started to feel like yourself, and you obviously had some immediate success when you came up here.
Yeah.
What has been different, just feel-wise, about these last 3 weeks for you?
When I say comfortable in the box, I literally mean I'm just relaxed, just full relax.
How do you feel your skill set matches up with the leadoff spot?
I think naturally I see a lot of pitches, so I think that's just gonna suit well in that spot.